If I were to tell you, for example, you taste a dish and you said, I think maybe a little bit of acid would be good. So you go in the refrigerator, you find a lemon, you grate a little bit of lemon rind or a bit of juice, you dash in it, you taste, you say, I think it needs a bit more roundness and richness. Maybe I put a piece of butter. So you go in the refrigerator, get a piece of butter, you add it there. Then you test again and you say, maybe you cannot cook this way. Things have to be right there next to you, and you add and taste, and add and taste, and add and taste, and add and taste too. And you build it up, as I say, in a manner which is very impulsive and to a certain extent irrational. And likewise in the panning, if you were to look at a panning and say, maybe a little bit of blue indigo would be good there, so you go and get a can, a tube of blue indigo, open it to put attached here, maybe a little bit of yellow cadmium. You go back, there is no way you can pan this way. You have to have the palette in front of you with all of those colors, and sometimes you add it because it just feels right. Most of the time it's not rational. It just feels that it belongs right there and it belongs right there. And it's the same thing with the food, very often. The only thing which remains that young chefs remember is the creativity part of it and the aesthetic of the food. They forget about everything else. So now it was a kind of Pandora box where you could do the weirdest type of thing so that you would be different. So you end up with a slice of Roquefort on top of a bowl of raspberry ice cream. Wow! No one has ever thought of it. Well, there is probably a reason why no one has ever thought of it. So and the attractiveness of the plate. So you end up with 8 or 10, tiny baby, even unborn vegetable. I mean, so tiny. And overtouch, as Julia said, kind of tortured, because you overtouch them, and they become in a very static fashion presented, and they lose some of the spontaneity, some of the naturalness of cooking. So those things are taken too far away, certainly in the aesthetic part of it, during the time of Nouvelle Cuisine. You can see that in panning too, where the embellishments in the panning itself take precedence over the real substance of the panning itself. So it becomes kind of more decorative and all that, and more embellished too, but then the beauty of the panning or the value of it is somewhere else, not there. And likewise in the food. I mean, to a certain extent, it all amounts to one thing. Is it good or not to eat? This is for the food, certainly, where the taste is much more important, of course, than the visual, in my opinion. That's what I said. Every food critic should be blind. It should be requested by law so that they can go to the heart of the matter and tell you whether it's good or not. I don't think there is any place as comforting, as secure than the kitchen. For a child coming back from school, to be in the kitchen when I was a kid and to hear the noise of your parents, your mother talking or your father, and the clink of the kitchen, the smell of the kitchen too. Those kind of feeling, those kind of thing will stay with you the rest of your life, and it becomes, as I said, an extremely secure and comforting place. And that's what cooking usually is all about, and we go back to that. You can look at those kids in Iraq and Afghanistan now. If they dream at night, what do they dream of? American, apple pie from your mother, or a clam chowder, or whatever it may be. The point is not there, not even for the food itself, but for what it represents, a type of something securing, something comfortable, something that you want to have, So there is no better place, as I say, than the kitchen for a child. And I would tell what my daughter does, but when you have the little kid in the kitchen, you have them with you in the kitchen. When Claudine was 3 years old, I hold her on my arm, or she was 2 years old, she stirred the pot. If she stirred the pot, she, quote, made it, and she was going to eat it, And the same thing with her daughter and all that. They have to get involved in the kitchen and touching things and recognizing ingredients. And certainly when Claudine was small and I killed squab, which you smother them and all that, my wife, oh my God, don't let the baby sit, oh my God. Baby doesn't care. Little girl or two. If you are in a farm in France, you kill a chicken, well, it's not something you you rejoice doing, or a rabbit, but you know how to do it. You do it the right way, fast, and it's part of nature. And they should be part of that. They should understand that, and that link from nature to the plate, you know, because we've been too far away from that. As I said, my example where a kid will recognize food according to the color of a cardboard and some type of, animal character on top, you know, so that's scary. You can really cook well with a very, very limited amount of effort, you know. Certainly for much less money than going to a restaurant, you control what you're putting in your mouth and the mouth of your kid, and that's very important. So I would incite people to do that, and all buy my book to...